Hi, I'm Deborah Atkinson, host of the Flipping 50 show. And you know those busy days when you're sitting a lot and then maybe you're sitting for meetings and then you're sitting to commute and then you go home and you're tired, so you sit some more. There are a lot of places on your body where you can store attention, but the one we're going to focus on today are your hips. So I'm dressed, ready to go for a bike ride. This is a great pre-exercise stretch as well. But if you happen to be sitting all day, your hips take as much a beating being sedentary and in a seated position as they do if you're about to exercise. So this will be double dipping. So number one, first option is to do this in a standing position. I happen to have a wall and a window on either side, so I've got lots of places I can brace myself for support. So watch this and don't get scared. I'm going to show it to you in a seated position also. But I call this the number 4 stretch because if you're looking, it creates a little bit of a number 4 picture. What I want you to do is put your weight back in your heel and sit down just low enough where you feel the stretch. You're going to primarily feel it in the leg that's crossed over the front. So great balance. You can let go. If you need a hand, do this. What I want you to do with that knee is not with your hands, but you're going to try to press it open. So you're just trying to not let it come forward, but really open it and push it down toward the floor. And as you sit down, your weight is in that standing heel. It's a great hip stretch. It stretches the piriformis muscle. I'm going to show it to you on the other side just to repeat. So bring it up and over. And if you're not really flexible and that just seems impossible, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you another version seated in a second. So sitting here, weight on your heel. And again, you want to just point that knee down and out to the side so that you're really opening up the hip. And what that does is activates the muscles in the hip just a little longer. You want to hold those for about 30 seconds. You could go up to a minute, but it doesn't help to hold them longer than that. And then come out of it. So seated, here's what it looks like. And I just happen to use a ball because it's right here and in this spot. You do this right in your chair or get to the edge of an ottoman or slide to the edge of your seat. Here's what it's going to look like. So I'm going to shove this right against a wall so that it's stable. I'm going to cross one leg up and over. So in this seated position, you can kind of help yourself get that leg up. And then what you want to do is sit tall and hinge from your hip, leaning forward. Same idea here is you want to push that knee down toward the floor. You're just going to the point where you feel a stretch. You're going to hold that for, again, about 30 seconds. And then release it. Watch it on this side. And I'll change my angle just slightly. So I bring it up, cross that leg over, go ahead and help yourself. This is my tight leg, so even here I'm feeling a stretch. So I'm going to hinge forward barely. And I've got a great stretch, I promise you. So you're holding that, pushing the knee down and out to the side. And when you notice one of your legs will be tighter than the other, try and pay a little bit more attention to this one. And I might do a second stretch on this tight leg if I had more time. So there's your standing or the seated. You could do both or choose seated if standing doesn't seem appropriate for you right now. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to do a lunge. Now you might be thinking right now, well, I know how to lunge. I've done a lunge before, but this one's a little bit different. So what I want you to do is to have one leg far back, this leg forward, weight on your heels, and what you're going to do is slowly lower down so that this knee touches, and then I want you to straighten it out. Stay almost the same level and do all the flexion and extension right through this leg and through this hip. So that as you push back, you're opening up your hip flexor in this position. And most of us, while we're sitting, get really shortened and tight hip flexors. Watch it on this side. So a nice long angle, stay right here. We'll keep the fur ball out of the way. And you're gonna touch and press straight back. So that's a down and a push. And it's not a long hold. Touch the knee and lower down. Trying really not to go up and down very much. Flex and push and release. The last thing we're going to do is roll those hips. So all the way down here, now we've got a little theme going with our number 4. You're going to cross that over, and that is the hip you're going to roll on. If you don't have a foam roller, another option is to put a couple tennis balls inside a sock and roll on those. Now the smaller the surface and the harder the surface, the more challenging it's going to feel for you to roll. So the slightly larger surface is not quite as uncomfortable as tennis balls would be. But this is going to really help get to that piriformis, roll those tight hip muscles from sitting or from exercise, if that's you. Other side, I cross it over, and then I'm going to lean into that very same hip and roll back and forth several times. And you want to move slightly and roll several more times on that same side because those are broad muscles in those hips. And that is your way to take care of your hips. So stretching with holds of about 30 seconds or up to a minute, but definitely you've got to hold longer than 15 seconds. Then, after you've repeated 1 or 2 of those stretches, then go into foam rolling and try to get up while you're standing and away from your chair. Walk around a little bit and you'll be a little bit more looser and you'll notice the difference in how you feel. And that's your hip care for today.